Hey guys, it's Jessie V. So today I thought I would make a video of me talking about the things that irrationally scared me as a child. I was a very nervous kid. I know I've said this before, and I had so many fears. So many fears that when I look back on, I'm like, what was wrong with you? But I think some of these are relatable because I grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s, and there were a lot of urban legends that kids sort of believed that freaked them out. So I'm gonna go over some of those, but I'm also gonna talk about ones that I had that just didn't make any sense. For example, and this is really embarrassing, I don't even know why I'm talking about this right now, but as a kid, I had a fear that my eyeballs were just gonna spontaneously fall out. Like, wherever I went, I'd ask people, I'd be like,
Are they still in my head? Do they look secure? Do these look secure right now?
and my aunt would be like, of course they're secure. What do you mean? I feel like I freaked people out. My mom always called me a hypochondriac because, what's the word? Hypochondriac? Hypochondriac? What's the word? Just because I always thought everything was wrong with me. But the eyeball thing, I don't even know how to explain that or rationalize that, but they just didn't feel like they were stuck in my head. I always felt like if I sneezed, they'd pop out, or if I coughed, or if I was overly excited, they'd just be like, psh, psh, like, I don't know. The next thing that I was really afraid of was anything on my skin that didn't look normal. For example, one day I spent an entire day at the beach with my parents. I came home and I looked down at my legs when I was about to go have a bath, and my legs were like a dark red color. So me, at this age, I'd be like, oh, it's a sunburn. I was at the beach all day. That makes sense. But back then I was like,
Why are my legs red right now? What is wrong with them?
and before I had this bath, my parents were out of the grocery store, so I couldn't really ask them about what was going on with my legs. So I called up my aunt, who was a nurse, and I was like,
Listen, I have like red all over my legs. Am I dying? Should I go to the hospital right now?
and she was like, well, Jess, what were you doing today? Were you out in the sun? And I was like,
Well, yeah, I was out of the sun, but like my legs are red.
and my aunt was like, that's a sunburn. And I felt so stupid. I don't know, that's what I'm saying. Hypochondriac. Hypochondriac. Act. I'm actually gonna look up this word because I don't know how you pronounce it. I feel like this background is making my face so overexposed. I don't know. I'm gonna be editing this later and I'm gonna be like blinded by my own skin. Okay, it's called a hypochondriac. So I think I was right the first time. A person who is abnormally anxious about their health. Abnormally. That describes me perfectly. So I don't know if you heard this one when you were a kid, but there's this thing about where if you drank Sunny D, you would turn yellow or orange. Like you would turn the color of Sunny D. And I remember my cousins always drinking this when I was a child, and they would offer it to me and I'd be like,
No, I don't want to be an Oompa Loompa. Like, not today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today.
like I just stayed clear of that drink. When someone at my school was drinking that with their lunch, I'd be like,
Don't do that. That's dangerous. You're gonna turn yellow, and that's your problem. If you want to drink it, you're gonna be yellow.
my teacher one day came up to me and she was like, Jess, like stop telling the kids that they're gonna turn yellow because they're not, okay? So calm down. That was my whole childhood. Just parents telling me to chill. Another thing I was really afraid of was sidewalk cracks because of that saying that goes, if you step on a crack, it'll break your mother's back, or something like that. So I literally, when I was walking down the sidewalk to my bus, to the park, wherever I was going, I would always avoid the cracks. And sometimes sidewalks would have so many cracks that to just get past one square of the sidewalk, it would take me like 5 minutes, okay? Because I had to be super sure. And then if I actually stepped on one, I'd call my mom. I'd be like,
Are you okay? I just stepped on a crack. I just want you to know. Are you okay?
and she'd be like, yeah, calm down. I just took it really seriously. I feel like this video is making me sound absolutely insane. Which I mean is true. Next thing that I was really afraid of, which I feel like this one's more relatable, was those really creepy chainmail emails. Email? A tongue twister? Like you would get those really creepy emails that would say like, if you don't forward this to 15 people, a headless lady's gonna enter your room at night. You know what I mean? Like those really creepy things. And the thing is, if you ignore them, it's gonna bother you all day. You're gonna be like, if I go to bed tonight, will she be there? Will the headless woman actually be there? Like you start questioning yourself. And if you forward it to 15 people, then you feel fine. You're like, okay, I'm fine. I passed the test. I'm okay. I feel like as I got older, those didn't bother me because I knew how fake they were. But as a kid, like those things, you'd read them and just be so disturbed. And you'd try not to read them, but the first like 3 letters of the email would be like, I know you're reading this. Because you started reading this, you have to finish reading this or you're gonna die, or like something like that. And it did mess with your head. The next thing that I knew went around a lot was if you drank Pop Rocks with Coke, your stomach would like explode. And the thing is, that that bothered me, definitely, but I didn't really eat Pop Rocks too often, and it wasn't because of the Coke exploding in your stomach thing. It was because I hated the sound of Pop Rocks. Whenever I ate them, my brain would feel like it was like crackling. It's so loud in your head. It's like someone turned up the volume in your ears and all of a sudden like it's just explosions in your mind. Oh, one that did freak me out was the one that if you swallow gum, it takes like 8 years to digest or something. I don't know how many years, but I just remember my parents saying like,
don't swallow your gum. It will literally stay in your stomach for the rest of your life.
So I never once swallowed my gum. I have never swallowed gum once, and I'm proud to say that. And if one of my friends swallowed their gum, I would literally want to call 911 because I was that worried about them. But I mean, I know it's not going to stay in your stomach forever, but I feel like gum is still not a good thing to swallow. Like, don't do it anyways? What's another, like, stomach swallowing thing? Oh, if you swallow a watermelon seed, you'll actually grow a watermelon in your stomach. That freaked me out too, but that was a bit more unrealistic to me, I feel like. Oh, and then there was, like, the poisoned Halloween candy, which actually happens, not often, but there have been cases where kids bring home candy that's been poisoned, or there's drugs in it, or I think, what is it, razors in apples, I think it was? So whenever I went out for Halloween and I got all this candy, I'd go home and put it on the table and my parents would look through it, which is a good thing to do. That wasn't an irrational fear. That was a good fear. So all you people, I know it's far from Halloween, sadly. But when you go out, always have your parents check the candy, or if you're like my age, still have your parents check the candy. And then lastly, I was freaked out by the Easter Bunny. I think I've mentioned this on my channel before, but something about a giant hairy animal breaking into your house and leaving eggs everywhere, that's not cool to me. That is not something that makes me happy. I was fine with Santa. I was fine, well, sort of fine with the Tooth Fairy, but a bunny? Whew, that is pushing it. Phone is always interrupting my videos, always. But yeah, that is the end of today's video. Let me know if any of these were relatable, or you can just upfront tell me like, Jessie, you're insane. Anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and until next time, bye!